Hey guys, it's Luis from BFlex. Today I'm going to show you how to prevent heat press marks when using heat transfer vinyl right after the intro. Nothing is more annoying for a decorator than going through the entire decoration process and finding that we're getting heat press marks on our blanks. In this video, we're going to discuss two types of heat press marks. We're going to discuss heat marks and pressure marks. Heat marks are caused when you overheat the blank and thus melting it, and it tends to show a little bit of shine on the blank on the garment. And the pressure marks are when you apply too much pressure, and then this can be shown on the blank but also on the vinyl. But don't worry, with BFlex we have many solutions to avoid this sort of problem. Alright, so the first option is to use some sort of Teflon or cover sheet, and this is typically used in order to protect the garment from having any sort of heat press marks. But in our case, you don't need this. BFlex products apply at temperatures low enough so that you don't have to use any sort of Teflon or cover sheet to protect the garment. And in the case that you have any garment that is particularly susceptible to heat marks, we have a couple decoration solutions for you. The first option is to use a low temperature material like our Gimme 5 Evo. This material presses at a mere 285 degrees for 4 seconds. This low temperature and time allow you to press heat sensitive blanks without having to worry about burning them, and you can have full confidence. The second option is actually an upcoming product that we have yet to release that's called BF Windstop. It's going to be an even lower temp product, pressing at 230 degrees for only 8 seconds. So be on the lookout for that product launch, because that's going to be a revolutionizing product in this industry. Alright, so now that we've covered heat marks, let's move on to pressure marks, which can also affect our finished product. Pressure is one of the main components in heat transfer vinyl, and it's really what pushes the adhesive into the garment and creates the final process. Now, when applying too much pressure, sometimes you can leave unsightly marks in the garment. So we're going to go through a few scenarios and tell you how to deal with them. Alright, so the first scenario is when applying a one color design onto a material that may be pressure sensitive, maybe puffy, something like vegan leather or full height leather. They tend to be susceptible to the carrier leaving marks, especially like the outside of the carrier. So there are 3 things that we can do to avoid this. The first one is working with a placement press. So what we do is we grab them, the blank. We apply the material, but what we are going to do first is we're going to do a placement press. We apply with less pressure than normal so that we don't basically brand this carrier edge onto the material. And we press for less time. In the case of the Gimme 5, we could do a 1 press with low pressure. We peel the carrier away, we leave our butterfly here, and then we do an actual sealing press as you would do when layering different colors of Gimme 5, and do the full 4 seconds of the entirety of the pressing time that you would need for the material in order to apply correctly and make sure that it's washing resistant. That is the first method. Now the other 2 methods you can do are contour cutting around the design to make sure that the edge of the liner is the same as your design, so that when you press the material, you cannot see a square or rectangle around your design. That's another method. Sometimes it may be a little bit more time consuming than doing the placement press. And the final method or option that you have is making sure that the outside edges of the carrier are outside of your blank. So for example, if I were to fold this into 4 pieces and I wanted to apply this butterfly, I would have to make sure that all the edges of my liner are outside of the blank, so that whenever I apply pressure, they don't get stuck in there, they don't brand, they don't mark that edge on my blank. This is particularly useful when decorating something like leather wallets, because they're small enough to where you can leave the carrier as a bigger piece. It can be a little bit wasteful with vinyl, but when you're dealing with technical materials like these tips can help a lot. All right, so now we've covered heat marks and pressure marks on the garment, but pressure marks can also occur on the vinyl itself. This is most common when layering different colors of vinyl, and the liner most of the time leaves a mark in the vinyl itself. This creates an issue for us. Now, there's a couple of ways you can work with this. The first one would be to contour cut every single layer of vinyl and place them together. Now, this is a little bit time consuming, so I would recommend what I spoke to you about before, which is working with the placement presses and with a sealing press. So what you would do is work with the initial layers and do a 1 second press with the Gimme 5 Evo, or half the time for anything else. You would apply every single layer with low pressure to make sure that you're not digging into the vinyl with every single layer that you're applying. And then the final layer, after you're done everything else, you would apply with full pressure and your full 4 seconds, which we would call a sealing press. All right, so I hope you found this video helpful, and hopefully you can apply some of these tips towards your decorating business, and you can save yourself a little bit of headaches. So make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and hit the bell button so you get notified whenever we post more videos like this one. Follow us on social media, and make sure you go to bflexamerica.com, where you can find out more about our products, where to buy them, and more info.